For the last few months I have been gradually using a mixture of Pick-a-Brick and eBay, ordering a bunch of pieces so that I could recreate the 2003 set Cloud City 10123. Now I already own the newer Cloud City set with all the minifigures, so I thought I don't really need the minifigures, I just need the pieces. I also just want to make clear I won't need all of these pieces, because some of them came in big batch bundles and some of them you couldn't really get today for a reasonable price. So for some of these larger pieces I am hoping to just stack plates on top of each other to substitute it, so we'll see how it goes. And this is what the finished product looks like. I've not opened the newer version of the set yet, so while I do have the minifigures from the newer set, I've not got them out yet. Now you can see it's not exactly the same as the original. A couple of the colours are slightly different. It's a different shade of green that we're dealing with, but all the features in the set work fine. For instance, if you put a character on here, you can flick him out like so, or to mimic Vader using the Force, these can drop out. Pull that right the way up to there, which on the other side looks pretty cool. And of course we have just Han Solo getting frozen in carbonite. Now I've had to do a few modifications as well. So typically in the normal set, this part is all one piece, but as you can see from here, it is a combination of 2x1 pieces with these grooves up the middle, just so that when you pull the chain, that will move up. And I've had to modify the landing pad, for instance. Finding these parts as one unit was difficult, so I had to get this from a different set, and then these pieces here, these pieces are plates stacked on top of each other. Now because I've done that to this base here, it's meant I've had to do a little bit of modification to the underside as well to add a bit more support. So if I pull this apart and just flip it over, you can see just for stability I've had to add another piece at this junction here, just so that all the plates would fit together. So naturally again at this point you can see that I've had to substitute by getting 3 plates stacked on top of each other. If you find down at this part of the model as well, I couldn't find on the Pick-a-Brick section this corner piece as one unit, so I had to get 3 plates again and stack them on top of each other to get it to work. So this piece here was also a modified piece. In the original set it was all one, and all I've done, really you could get by with 1 by 4 bricks on top of a regular turntable will do the same function as the one specified in the set. Now one of the things that I really like about this set is that it is modular as well, so you can take apart these sections and rearrange the set really in a couple of different ways that you might want to. Take these pieces off here, so that comes apart. And one of the ways I would typically rearrange it, just to make it maybe a little bit more movie accurate, I always like to put the carbon freezing chamber along with the space where Vader fights Luke together next to each other, like so. You could loosely reconnect that there, so you create this look that is closer to the movie. You could do something like this with it, so then at least if Luke falls out of here, you can fall straight onto this platform. Another scheme would be if you wanted to keep this bridge as a connector to the landing pad, then you could just place that on the side like so. There's a lot of different options you could do to customize this set. In terms of price point, from the pick a brick section of Lego's website, this is going to set you back around £121, but then there was also an additional £109 that I spent on pieces that I couldn't get on the pick a brick from eBay. Of that cost, the hardest pieces to find was about 12 pieces. I've spent £54 on 12 pieces, those being the dark grey bases here, these corner pieces, you see the big grey pieces there as well, big base plates, and I believe the Han Solo printed piece. We've also got some printed pieces like this one, and these were some of the hardest to get a hold of. Just for those difficult pieces, that's about £54. But noting as well that this bag here is all the spare pieces that it came with, and in addition to those spare pieces, plenty of these leftover pieces as well. So the total that building something like this today might set you back £231, although I know that if I had bought some of the eBay pieces more economically, I could have made another saving of about £10. So you're talking about £220 to build this today. Whereas if you went on Bricklink to buy just the set, it's going to cost you somewhere between £550 and £743, meaning that by using pick a brick and eBay, you could potentially save about £320. You might wonder, if we have the newer one, why would we want to come back to this older set design? Well, because in the newer set, the landing pad is only large enough for the MIDI scale Slave 1, whereas in this original version of the set, you get a quite nice sizable landing pad, and it is large enough to accommodate, ignoring the dust on it, this smaller scale Millennium Falcon. And as you will remember, there are different landing pads in the movies, so this can be one landing pad. The one in the newer set can represent the other landing pad. But because it's quite a wide pad as well, you can quite reasonably fit on an X-Wing alongside your Falcon, or you could swap this out for the twin pod cloud car. So based on the price, do I think this is worth doing in 2026? If you like this design and you want to try and incorporate this set in with the newer one, absolutely. I wouldn't necessarily recommend spending over £1,000 on the original set unless you're really invested in those minifigures, but if you have the newer one, you can get all the pieces for this for around £220. But I would also be interested to see this broken down into its individual pieces and remixed into the newer set. Cloud City is a large place, and you can imagine they would have more than one carbon freezing chamber, and so it doesn't really matter that some of the elements might be doubled up, because you can have a much larger Cloud City to play in. But I might do a video later where I integrate the two sets into one larger set.